Good afternoon and welcome to Caverna High School's budget. And let me go ahead and launch this here slideshow. Okay, I'm going to walk you through some of the budget changes that I've made coming in as a new principal for the project. And so, first of all, just to sort of set you up and let you know a little bit more about Caverna High School, we are a small high school located in South Central Kentucky. We have approximately 196 students. That's between grades 9 through 12. And so we are small, and because we are small, we operate a little differently than some of the larger districts would operate. And so some of the budgetary needs and placements that I have are a little different than you might note in a larger school system. First of all, I just think it's always important to look at the mission and vision because everything should always be tied in directly to accomplishing the mission and vision. And all stakeholders should be a part of this and be transparent in all of your roles, especially where dollars and cents are going. Um, our mission is we are committed to recognizing the importance of communication and to encouraging dialogue among all constituencies, to promoting intellectual and social growth and development within the school community, to provide a safe, supported setting so that students have equal opportunities to learn and succeed. Our vision is to prepare and motivate our students for a rapidly changing world by instilling in them critical thinking skills, a global perspective, and a respect for core values of honesty, loyalty, perseverance, and compassion. Students will have success for today and be prepared for tomorrow. So, how do we accomplish this, especially with our budget? One of the first areas that we needed to target was math and reading. We are behind in both of those categories. While I know lots of other spots and places in the state are also suffering from being behind on math and reading, I feel like this plagues us and has plagued us over the past decade that I've been a instructor, teacher at the Caverna High School. And so some of the things that I've noted that I've put in place, I'll walk you through and try to make you understand why I've selected those things. But the first thing there is interventions. Tier 3 math and reading interventions. We're going to incorporate those into the school master schedule. And students will be placed in an intervention course based upon academic goals and needs. So really what we're trying to do is fine tune and place students where they need to be. That hasn't been done in the past, but I think this would be a powerful way to work with them to help them grow and to sustain that growth and bring them closer to aligning themselves to the state average. The other thing is we're going to use a program called Reading Plus program, and this is for students that do not meet benchmark, and we're going to assign them to an RTI class for reading, and we'll utilize this program. Now, let me say this, programs are only as good as the instructors or teachers that are utilizing those programs. So we're going to be making sure that we place those students in with a teacher that is secure in using the program, but is also good at helping foster and secure them in ways of helping them grow. And so we'll look at that a little closer here in just a moment. All content areas will implement a variety of reading literacy strategies. It doesn't matter if it's science, if it's art, if it's music, whatever it is, everybody, the literacy is going to impact, and reading is going to impact all of those courses and all of those categories. So that's one thing that we really need to focus on is having an embedded literacy program through all of the other courses so that they're getting that not just one place, but many places throughout the day. One thing I did change is the math program. We were previously using IXL for math, and I've changed that over after some research to the art of problem solving. and it just hit me. I like this program a lot. We'll look at it a little more in depth here coming up in a few slides. But it just hit me that today we are really called to be problem solvers, and so it's not just about can you do the math problem, but can you understand the method and the pedagogy that goes behind actually solving that problem, not just working it out and saying I've done it. So this program does a good job at taking students deeper and helping them understand the strategies behind problem solving. And then we also will continue to use STAR math and reading assessments just to give us a better flow of where we are, snapshots throughout the year. And so we're constantly looking at data to make sure that what we are doing is being effective and working. Art of Problem Solving, as I mentioned, a great program. It doesn't matter where you're at on the scale. A lot of times what we get, especially when our students come up as freshmen, they are actually a year or two behind. So, they may be more at like a 7th grade level, even though they're coming in as freshmen. So this gives us a wide swath here of types of categories in the program, so we can really fine-tune and place these students exactly where they need to be and give them the tools for success to move them forward to help gain some ground. We're really going to have to pick up and gain some ground in the next couple of years as they get ready to approach their senior year. Some resources here. Again, this is just great for the students. They have videos they can watch. There is the Math Counts trainer that's available. The Alcumus is a free adaptive online learning system, so it's going to help customize the experience again for them. And then the other thing is for the win. You can compete. I think competition's a good thing. It's a healthy thing, and so allowing them to compete with other schools or other students in their class, that can be a positive thing as well to really build and sustain that level of deep learning. All right, one of the other changes you'll note in the budget this year is that I've asked for a PASS coach. That's a positive approach to student success coach. And I'll get into some of the data as to why I'm asking for this in just a moment. But first of all, let's just define what a PASS coach is, right? PASS coach is really a behavior coach for emotionally or behavior disordered high-risk students, which we are. I mean, we are 90+% free and reduced lunch. We are high poverty. We are high need. These students come to us usually from a setting of parents that are latchkey kids in some cases. Some cases, by the time they're in high school, a lot of these kids, while they may be living with an adult, maybe a grandparent, maybe an uncle, but they are really raising themselves in a lot of ways. So we can utilize daily behavior evaluation software here to help weekly behavioral analysis through the PASS coach to guide some of the interventions to help them gain some of the behaviors that will achieve success, not hinder them, not disable them, but to provide ability and help to heal maybe some of the ways that they've been using behaviors. So we focus PASS on academic and behavioral success. We are looking at building dignity and respect. We're looking at being able to collaborate and to help students develop what we call adaptive and socially acceptable behaviors, because they're coming to us in many cases with behaviors that are not socially acceptable, right? In fact, they're quite the opposite. So the student is provided a reasonable chance to succeed. I think without this, they really do not have a great chance at succeeding, replacing, failing behaviors with positive behaviors. So why, right? One of the things that as a principal, and again, because we're a small school, we only have one principal and one guidance counselor, and that's it. And so I really feel like a lot of the past principal's time, and again, I'm looking at a decade or more of history here because I've been a teacher in this district. And what I've seen time and time and time again is you get a principal that comes in, they're all gung ho to take the lead, take the helm, and make some changes. But what happens throughout the year, and they really are unprepared for this because it's really not like any place that you've ever been. We really are kind of an inner city school, placed in a small school setting. And I know that's hard to comprehend, but that's really the truth. And so what happens year after year is these principals start out, with uh, great changes in place. And what they quickly find is they get bogged down in dealing with just daily behaviors. And they get so encased in dealing with these daily behaviors that they cannot get out of the class, get out into the classroom to really deal with what's going on academically. And so they're dealing with so many behaviors that really becomes the primary challenge. And so let's just look at some of the data, and I apologize up front. The lady that inputs a lot of the Swiss data, when I called to get some of the data sent over to me, she's in the process of moving, and so I am dealing with just some of the data that was given to me verbally. So I don't have any nice charts and graphs here, but again, I can kind of speak to this from 10 years of seeing it and dealing with it firsthand. But last year, now this is the non-pandemic year. Of course, this year will be a little different because, basically school stopped in March. But last year, the non-pandemic year, for a school of 196 students, we had over 700 total write-ups. Now let that sink in for a minute. That's really almost four times the number of students we have with our write-ups, which is incredible. And and keep in mind that some of those students, a good percentage of those students didn't incur any of those write-ups, but we do have a large percentage that do. And so, if you're talking maybe 30-40% of the population are repeat offenders. And part of that issue too comes from there's no alternative school, there's no alternative placement that we have available to us. We do have an ISS room and instructor, but outside of that, there's no alternative setting. So that's something we also have to deal with. So what were some of our top offending behaviors? Well, disrespect, and that would include things like profanity towards a peer or towards a staff member or towards some other person in the building. Disruptive behavior or off-task behavior, disrespect, lying. That's kind of our top one that we deal with day in and day out. Another one that marries up to that really well is attendance, leaving the building without permission, skipping class, skipping detention, tardies, those type of things. And so really hoping that by incorporating and instilling a pass coach, that these things can start to be alleviated. I will certainly agree that within the first year, we're not going to see total success, but I think we will see data that supports that the pass coach is doing some positive things and alleviating some of the things that would take up most of my time. So that's the reason I've really looked for a pass coach option here. And then finally, we are just better together. We have to be consistent, and that's from classroom to classroom, from administration all the way down. We just have to be consistent. And again, after 10 years of this, that's what I've noticed, just inconsistency, because usually the leader can't hold consistency because they get swamped and bogged down. So we are just looking at incorporating ways through interventions and through the pass coach to build synergy so that all of our dollars and cents are going to make that mission and vision, help those things be accomplished, and then all of those roles that we've talked about in this presentation also are going to make that occur. So I really love this quote by Mother Teresa. I'm going to exit on this. But none of us, including me, ever do great things. But we can all do small things with great love, and together we can do something wonderful. So we aren't going to turn this cruise ship on a dime. It's a slow moving process. But I believe by doing these small things day in and day out, we're going to make that great stride and that great headway that we need to see. And I'm looking to do this at least at a 5-year outlook. I'm not going to be one of those principals that drop in and drop out. So have a great day. Have a blessed day. I hope this